Hey, so I heard that you can hallucinate Linux inside of ChatGPT, and so I ran some experiments. I said, I want you to act as a Linux terminal. I will type commands and you will reply what the terminal should show. I want you to only reply with the terminal output inside one unique code block and nothing else. Do not write explanations. Do not type commands unless I instruct you to do so. When I need to tell you something in English, I will do so by putting text inside curly brackets like this. My first command is pwd. So then I type ls, which lets me know that what's inside of the user home directory. And then I do a pwd. And then I try to do a curl for hero lfg. And then I wanted to load this up in my browser, but you can see that there's this concatenation that happens. So like I wanted to see if the large language model was aware of some of my company back in 2021 or something like that. Like how good could it hallucinate it? Then I did a echo trying to create a hello world bash script, and then I typed hello world and it used the bash script, and then I looked for any files in the user local bin directory, and then I tried to change the hello world script to halo, and then I ran it and it knew that it was halo. Then I did a ls and I had a typo, so I had to redo it, and then it told me there was a hello world file. And then I did a curl. I was trying to do a test message to a test Discord channel. I'm wondering, does this thing actually have network access, or is it really a hallucination? It turns out it did not have access to the real world. It looks like it behaved as if it was a hallucination. And then I did Node.js-v. It said Node.js is not valid. So then I did Node-v, and it showed me like the hallucinated version of Node.js, which is running on its server. So then I type in hey1 into my file, and then I do echo. I do it right the second time, and then I do a ls to see that there is a myfile.txt. I do echo hey2, and then I can do a ls and a cat, and I can see that there is a hey1 and a hey2 in this myfile.txt. Then I am interested in actually creating a Node.js script. I'm wondering if, I wonder about clock speed inside of simulations and virtual worlds. So, does the clock inside of this simulation run faster or slower than my clock? I'm interested in time. I've thought about this a good bit, about being in a simulation and how does time pass within a simulation. So I'm trying to develop this counter.js Node.js script, and so I start just appending and checking this file, and eventually I start just combining a bunch of the code, and it turns out when I do a cat, it will make it pretty automatically. It even though I wasn't making it pretty when I was echoing it into the file. So it's not a perfect hallucination, and maybe it bends reality for my benefit, or maybe the interface is bending reality for my benefit. Then I do a node counter, and I mistype. It needed to be counter.js. So I'm trying to run Node.js in the background of this hallucinated Linux operating system, and I can see that it did not create the file I was expecting it to create in a real operating system. Would have been count.txt. It did not create that file. So then I do a cat on count.txt, and then I tried doing a ps-ef just to see if Node.js is running in the background, and I'm not actually getting a list of processes that are running in the background, because this is a hallucination. So I try to touch the count.txt file, and then I try to echo 1 to it, and then I'm trying to run the counter again to see if it will start incrementing the count every second, and it's just starting to misbehave with this complexity within the hallucination. It can't handle the complexity. And this is GPT 3.5, so I'm wondering if GPT-4 will handle the complexity better, and I'll probably run that test next. All right, so now I'm on 4. I probably will run out of tokens soon, but 25 every 3 hours, 25 requests every 3 hours. So I did the same prompt. This time it looks like username is my name of my user, and I'm using the hallucination has a version 14 instead of 16 if you compare it to 3.5. I then did a one-liner to try to get that code, and then I did a cat, and you can see the code is in place. It beautified it for me. I did an ls. It looks like it like count.txt. I did not create it, so it hallucinated that one, and I put a 0 in it. Then I did a node counter.js to run in the background, and then I did a ps to check for the process. This time GPT-4 actually is providing some info about the process that's running in the background, and then I did a cat count, and so it says 5. Now, one explanation for why 4 is doing so much better than 3.5 is that there's a limited amount of conversation history that can be included every time as the context each time you send a request. So maybe 3.5 would have done better if I hadn't have sent so many requests, but let's see if if it's still running in the background. So let's see, boom. So now it says 8. So the time is passing much slower in the hallucination. That's interesting. So, for example, I can say cat count.txt, and I can hit send. I'm at minute 7:11, and I hit send, and it says 11. And then if I do cat count.txt, and we'll do we'll wait till 7:41, so 30 seconds have gone by, and then here we go now. So 30 seconds between those, and you can tell it only counted 3 times, but the code, it's supposed to wait 1,000 milliseconds, so that's 1 second, and every second is supposed to be updating the count. It's incrementing the count inside of count.txt. So I just thought that was interesting that GPT-4 seems to be doing better than GPT 3.5 as far as hallucinating an operating system. And I have a stink bug crawling up at my camera, or up the screen of my laptop. I wonder if I could turn on my camera if you'll see it. Display capture, video capture. I don't know if it's gonna, maybe I can make it move across the camera. Come on. There it goes. Oh. Oh. Turn around. Also called a shield bug. They smell like cilantro when they stink on you. There it is. He's covering my camera. Oh, man. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And let me know if you have experiments or thoughts about what to do with these large language models.